Hello, in this video I will show you how to create a user interface using Python. We are going to use the library wxPython. I will show you how to install it, how to import it. I will show you the documentation, how to read it, and then how to implement it in your program. We are not going to do really complicated user interfaces. It's going to be actually really simple, but I want to give you like the basics of what we need to put or create in order to understand it. Let's begin. So the library that we're going to see is called wxPython. Python already came with a library called tkinter, something like that, but tkinter is having some issues and some glitches in some computers. It's not consistent in all the computers, and I know it wanna have some issues for you guys. So that's why I'm going to wxPython instead, in order to use it for our application, and run with little no modifications between Windows, Mac, and Linux, and other Unix-like systems. In this case, we are going to use really basic interfaces, so it's going to be working across all the elements without any issues. So let's start. How wxPython works actually is we need to create a frame. A frame is an element that you can start putting things on there, and the user can interact. So we need to remember that the parent of every element in wxPython, that's how we are going to do it, is going to be a frame, and inside that frame you start putting all the elements that you need to specify and have. Remember also that we need to have a loop. A loop is just to leave the windows open, and it will show you how that actually works and how that actually is. So let's start. First, we install the library. If you're in a Mac computer, you will start with the pipe3 command, install -u, capital U is really important, wxPython. If you're in a Windows computer, just remove the 3. Just do pip install. If you're a Mac, pip3 install, and execute it. In my case, because I already have it, it's finished really quick. It's going to take probably a couple of minutes for you guys. Of course, you need to have internet in order to download the library and have it in your system. So after you have the library installed, we can start our application. So let's call this application.py. Let me just save it. And let's say, first of all, we need to import the library that we just created, that we just installed it. So we need to say import wx. We are going to be using the object-oriented approach. So let's create a class called application, and this class is going to inherit everything from the wx library frame. Remember, frame is a class, so we're going to inherit all that functionality, and we are going to give some benefits on top of that. Of course, we need to run the frame initialization. So for run the initialization, we need to do the super. We need to send, actually, we need to define our initialization or construction. This is a little bit more complex than we are used to, but just for these cases, we're going to do self, and we are going to do star arguments, star kw. This is just element that could we handle and how wx actually works. Just put it in place. This is what it means. Is you add extra argument, is going to be saved in this variable, and it's going to be sent to the parent. So just leave it like that in these particular cases. Okay. Now we need to call the parent initialization, and we need to send the current class. This is specific for the library. and the self, the element that we are going to be initializing over here. And we are going to execute the parent init, and we are going to send all those arguments and key W parameters. If this doesn't make much sense, we doesn't need to worry about it. It's just to make the library working in our environment. Okay. Now we have, let's create our panel. So after we have our frame, we need to put a panel on the frame. So let's say self dot underscore panel. Remember that double underscore is for make it private, it's not make it available outside the class. It's going to be a WX panel, and we are sending the current object. I believe we can leave it like that. So now let's create an object. My application is going to be the type application. Sorry, my application is going to be a WX application. So we are creating an object that is bigger than W frame that is going to grab everything in. And now we're saying that the frame, or let's say the window, is going to be my application. It will not have a parent, so the argument we need to put a none over there, and then we say window. We need to show it. This is functions that came from the library, and then we say the main application. We need to do the main loop. And I believe this is the basic code that we need to have. Let's execute it. Python 3 application, and there you go. We have a Windows empty that we can resize the elements that we wanted, and without any content. So let's go back to what we did. We initialize the class, or we inherit all the functionality for the frame, and for my application initialization, we send the custom object that is actually being created right now, and sending any other arguments or elements to the parent with the super element, and then we just create a panel, and that's it. So we create a main application from the WX, and then a specific window that is an instance of our application. We show that windows, and then we say, okay, application, you need to start running. Why is that? Because we can actually do something like this. Windows 2, Windows 2, and we execute it. We will have two different windows. One is going to be Windows, the other one going to be Windows 2. So all those windows that we can actually open and start interacting is going to be wrapped in our main application. Let's close those two. In order to create, let's make some modification to this. So let's go to the documentation by itself. wxpython.org. You go to the API reference. This is the documentation. We go to WX models. Let's look for a frame. These are the elements that we can start playing around with the WX Python. As I said before, it could be overwhelming, but I will show you exactly how to pinpoint the things that we need. So we have the frame element. A frame is a window whose size and position can usually be changed by the user. Okay, let's open it. So a frame have a parent, could have an ID, and this is a possible construction, how we can create it. It's telling us that it's accepting some title. Okay, what is the title? The caption to be displaying on the frame's title bar. So let's try to use this. So we can say probably title equal first window, and then over here title equal second window. We execute, we say without the second window and without the first windows in there. So that's a way to actually refer us what we need to be opened. Let's close it again. Or before closing the first window, let's see our command prompt. As you can see, it's still running, it's doing some kind of process. And the process is the loop that is rendering the window. When I exit this application, the command prompt is returned to us. Let's do it again. Let me execute. Because I have the windows open, we cannot interact with the command prompt. So we can actually just close it, and the command prompt is going to be returned to us. This is a good sign. That means that the application is actually working for us. Okay. What else we can do with the frames? We can have positions, we can have size. Let's play around with the sizing. So how the actual size work, we have the default size, but size is an element of WX sizing, and WX sizing is just have two elements, the width and the height. Okay, so we went to the size object, and we see that the object just accepts two parameters, the width integers and height integers. So if we go back and we say in the size is over here, and the size is of type WX size and accepts two integers values, we can do something like this. We need to put a comma, size equal, let's say 100 by 100, and size equal 800 by 600. Let's save it and let's run it again. And our second window is big, and the first one is actually really small. So this is actually how the objects works in this environment, and why it's a better approach to actually use the WX Python library. Okay, let's close it. Let's get rid of the second window. We don't need it right now. And let's leave the sizing as basic one. Let's change the title to hello there. Let's verify that it's still working. Is it still working? Perfect. So let's say that we want to put something inside that frame. We need to specify some kind of title in the frame to be displayed. So let's build something. Let's build a kilometer to miles converter. And let's put something that actually specifies that. So first we need to kind of label or static text that will not be changed. So let's look for the documentation. Let's look for text. There is a lot of text over there. Let's actually use the search box. Let's see what we can find. Fancy text, look too fancy for us. Libraries, now we don't need any libraries. Rich text, and we don't need it right now. Context help, configuration, font overview. No, we don't need anything of this. Clipboard. No, it doesn't look like anything that we need. Data views look more complex. Let's continue. HTML, huh? We can render websites in here. Pretty cool. Let's continue. I'm looking for something WX text, static text, something like that. So it's not any library. I'm just okay. Menu items. We also need the menus right now. Rich text. Okay, we are getting closer. We're getting closer. This looks like rich text too complex for what we actually need. So let's continue scrolling. We should find something else. Okay. Status. Oh, look at this. Static text. Probably. What is a static text? It's a static text control displays one or more lines of read-only text. This is what we need. Perfect. In order to build it, we need to use the static text element. Of course, this belongs to WX static text. We need to specify the parent, the label, and possible the position that we can actually use. I like it. So let me just copy this and let's go to the text. So we have the funnel. So let's create the label. It's going to be equal WX static text. Let me just remove this and close it. We need to specify the parent. We can get rid of the ID. We are not using IDs right now. We can put the label and the default position. So the parent element is going to be the panel. The panel is actually saved instead of panel, so we put the name there. Label, let's put hello there, and let's leave the WX default position for default. And let's render it. Let's see what happens. Hello there. Perfect. Super cool application. Let's save it. And it's there. Nice. Let's play around with the position. The position is going to be in a grid. So let's do. Actually, let's see it. Position is WX point, and WX point X and Y, and X and Y inside the windows that we have it. So probably we can do something like 10, 10. Okay, you can see it's not on the top left corner. It's like move a little bit to the right and a little bit to down. Let's increment the first element. I'm going to move it really far to the right. Let's increment the second element. This one is going to get moving down the window. So the position where we want to have that label enabled. Let's put it something basic. Let's say probably 1010. I don't like things to be really together to the frame. So super cool application. Perfect. But it looks like a little bit small for me. So what we can do to actually make this text a little bit bigger. Let's see something for us. So let's return to the wtext and let's see what methods we have. We have the init method, the create, is ellipsed, and the wrapping. We don't have that much. There's a diagram. Okay, this is actually how UWX Python have their components. So you have an object, a trackable, to event handler, to windows, to control, to create the static text. So static text class inherit everything from this other tab. Okay, let's say font. This will be something like get font. Actually, let's go back. Static text. Let's try this. Okay. So we have the actually label. This is the font going to be equal label dot. It gives you like a lot of options because Visual Studio Code is smart enough to see what element we have there. Oh. What else we have? It these are private. This is a little more public. There's a font element, but I see there is a couple of there called get. So let's see if there is a get font. There you go. Get font. And now let's see what font we have. There's an element called font size. Let's say that we want to increase it by 10. I know this element through the documentation, so we can actually look for that, the font size. WX font. There's a get font size and set font size, and it's an integer. So we can say actually the font size by itself, because now we have the element to be increased by 10, and then we can say our label dot set font is going to be the font that we already created. So it doesn't make that sense. Let's go through with it. We create a label with a text in there. We extracted the font of that specific label. We increase the font size, and then on the label we overwrite the font with the new font that we changed in sizing. Let's see if this works. Cool. Super cool. Application is bigger and it's doing what it's supposed to do. Perfect. So it's starting doing what we want to do. Okay, let's change some text in here. So let's say super cool converter, kilometers to miles edition. And let's put the super cool converter over here. Super cool converter, kilometers to miles edition. Super cool converter. Perfect. Now we need to put instructions. So we need another static text. So let's say that we need instructions is going to be equal wx. Actually, let's copy this. It's going to be the same parent. Label is going to be please provide the kilometers in the text field. Okay. Let's keep the same position to see what's happening. Both texts are overwritten, so we need to get it down a little bit. So let's increase this one by, I don't know, let's say 40. Oh, looks pretty cool. Let me do by 30. Let's see how it looks. Oh, it's too near. So yeah, let's leave it by 40 in this particular case. Perfect. Please provide the kilometers in the text field. Okay, we already give some instructions. Let's actually put the text field over there. A text field could be like some kind of text control in the WX layout. So let's go back and let's look for, I already know what to look for, so it's going to be text control. Allow us to display as and edit. This is what we needed. Single or multi-line element. Yeah, this is what we need, a single line. So in order to create it, we just need parent again. We can specify a value, but we're going to get the value later. We specify the position, sizing. So let's leave everything and just use the parent and the position. So let's actually copy all this. Let's say let's change this to the instruction indication what to do. So let's say kilometer text is going to be equal to this. So we also need the name, we also need the validator, style I don't care right now, sizing either, position, Yeah, I'm going to play around. If I want to put it down, let's say 10, I don't know, 60 probably. I don't want the value right now because I want it to be empty, and I don't require ID. And for parent, it is another panel that we have it over here. Okay. Ooh, didn't like it. Oh, it's WX text control. There you go. Wow, this looks like I already know where to put the stuff. It was not what we needed, but it's pretty cool. Let's play a little bit with the sizing. Let's see what happened. Size equal, probably can do something like this. I'm guessing right now. Okay, that's how it works. So let's do something like, I don't know, 20 probably. And let's do like 300. It's too much. Let's reduce it to 150. Okay, looks better. Perfect. And we can actually start typing information over here. Okay. Now we need to get these values. Let me close it. Let me show you what the value do. So value equal to 1, 2, 3, for example. And now we execute it. It's going to have 1, 2, 3 by default. So this is the element I'm going to actually extract. Perfect. So we need to do something to actually extract the information for the text control. That means that the text, kilometer text, we need to get it from somewhere else. So let's actually do self underscore kilometer text, give it like a name like that. What I'm giving this name like this. And this one we also needed to have it. When it's important to have like something saved in a variable is when you're going to be used later. If something is not going to be used later, you can just execute the command to show it. In this case, the text control, we can just show it there, but because we're going to save it somewhere, the element, we are saving it in a self element private field of the class. That way we can get this information later or something else that we need. So let's do a button. Let's look for a button. WX button, perfect. There's so many types of buttons and things that we can do. Same parent, ID, we don't care. Label, yes, what the button would say. Position, sizing, we want the styles, validator, naming. So let's save, but remember, button is WX button. So let's copy all this and let's create let's do a submit button is going to be equal WX dot all that, but naming we don't need it, validate for either size we don't care right now, so we can get rid of all that. ID we don't need it. Parent is going to be the panel. Label is going to be convert. and position. It is going to in the 1060. Probably we need something, and it's let's say something like 170, 60. Let's see how it looks. There you go. Why I knew that we can put it over here? It's a simple math. If text control is in the position 10 and the sizing is 150, so then in the starting 10 and finishing 160, 10 points after this. So what I'm doing is just saving 10 points in there where the position of the next button is going to be. Saving the same Y position, so it's going to be aligned. So this starts looking pretty cool. So we need to do something with this button. And how the button is handled in WX Python, they generate a specific event. So when a button is clicked, there is an event that is going to be emitted. What we need to do is call a specific method when an event of specific element is going to be executed, kick off and start doing that method. So let's do it like this. And for that, what it does is we need to bind the element to the frame. So we need to bind my frame. This is really important. And the bottom, it will look for event. There is ABT button event, process WX ABT button event when the button is clicked. So it's an event that is emitted. So we need to copy this and say, okay, WX, when there is an event element, what is going to be doing? So let's do self.convert this. Convert km to miles, comma, and the source where it actually came from. This will came from my submit button. So we're saying with this element, the button, have the event button, you will execute this. But this doesn't exist. We need to create it. So let's, because it's going to be actually a method, and let's get out of the initialization and let's define it. Let's say definition, kilometers, we need to set the self, and let's do something really simple as print hello from button. So whenever we click the button, we see the printing in the console hello from button. Let's see if it works. Click convert. We have hello from button in there. Perfect. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. Now it's actually not working the way that it's supposed. Oh, something else. Because this is an application or this is a method that we executed with an event, we need to send the self, the element instantiated, and we need to set the event itself. This is just only for the elements of the WX Python library. Let's execute it again. And it didn't like it. Let's see what happened. Let's see. Submit button. Missing one required position argument event. Okay, yeah, it's not to be executed. I will save it like that. There you go. We click convert. Hello from bottom. And we click. Whenever we click it, we see the text in the console that is actually working. Perfect. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. So now we need to get the information from the kilometer text. Let's see if we can actually take it. So let's print dot value, and this one is actually this one. Let's execute. So if I put hello here, okay, if I change it to Rodolfo, it's printing Rodolfo. If I change a number, it's printing a number. Perfect. So that's why we save it in a self inside of the class, so we can actually utilize this value later. So okay, now we see that convert to kilometers to miles is actually working. So what we can do over here? Well, we can do any Python command that we already learned during the semester. So this is actually text. That's why it's called kilometer text. Let's create a local variable. No, in the class level, only in the method level. And say kilometer is going to be, let's change to float. This. And then saying that miles is going to be equal kilometer multiplied by 1.609. Remember that the multiplication to get the miles. And let's say we print miles. Let's see what happened. If I put 1.609. If I put 2, 3.2180. 2.5, 40225. So it's actually working. If I do something that is not supposed to be there, it gives me an error. Okay? So perfect. It's doing what it's supposed to do. But now we need to display this to the user through the user interface. How we can do that? Well, a good way will be to have some kind of let's say some kind of message post, probably like a pop-up to give you the answer. So let's look for message box. There is message dialog. It's a little more complex, but let's use the simple message box. Okay, and we'll return a value. We also need to return anything at all. And this is pretty much the text, the message, and the caption. Perfect. The style, we also need a style. Let's use the OK. And the parent, we want to tie it up to a specific parent. But because it's a message, well, we can leave it like that. So let's just copy this. Actually, let's copy all this. Let's remove the print miles. Actually, let's remove the answer. We only need to have there. And let's remove the frame and the style, so let's give it the default style. And this is going to be the title. let's say converted, and let's do miles over here. Let's see if it works. Oh, miles is a float value. We need to change it to a string, so we need to cast it. So let's do str miles converted 1.609. Perfect. It will do 3.218. Excellent. 2.5. There you go. It's working where it's supposed to be. Let's lay out the text a little bit better, and let's put something like let's say let's put here, let's put the kilometers. Let's concatenate that, and let's put space kilometers are with space, we concatenate, and we do a string miles, we concatenate again, and we put the text space miles. Boom, that. Let's save it, let's execute. Let's say it's 2 convert, the 2 kilometers are 3.218 miles. Perfect. And this is our cool converter, so it actually works. We can do some extra things in here. For example, this looks to the left, so probably we can center it and change the sizing a little bit. So we can have self dot underscore main left equal 10, and everything that we have 10 is there, we just put it there. It will leave it like that. Let's say oh, we need to remove this one. Okay, everything is still there. So now we can save 100. We can actually put the self plus 20 over here. Okay, everything's moved. Perfect. The bottom. Oh, wait, no, it's below the sizing. 150. $160. Well, the sizing and also the margin that we need to have, that is actually 10. So everything to moving to the right, probably is too much. Let's do an 80. It's a little bit more. Center. And let's do another one like main top equal let's do 50. So the first position is going to be self dot main top. Then this one is going to be main top plus 30. this is going to be main top plus 50. And this one is going to be main top plus 52. Okay? Everything's a little bit down. Let's just play. We're just playing around with the numbers here. So we'll do 70, probably this one, let's do 75. There you go. It's a little more centered. Now that we're playing, what we did is we just change the positions through variables, and we go and define it on the top in our class. And let's see if this continues working. And it's continue working. So this is a user interface. We learned how to use a static text, change the size, put an input control, and put a button. Let's actually do one last thing. Let's do a close button. So let's copy this one. Let's call close. It's going to be a parent. It's going to be exit. Position is going to be main left. And main top plus, let's say 70 or 80. Let's see if it works. Okay, it's there. Actually, let's put this one over here. So it's going to be aligned to the button on the top. So convert or exit. What we need to do here is to close the application. How we do that? Well, we need to bind it. So let's copy the binding that we already have. And now save. When the close button execute the event button, you're going to self exit. And let's create another method called exit using self. We need to specify or send the event, and we just say self dot close. True. Self. So we'll click exit. It's going to be closed. Perfect. I believe now our application is completed.